Hello and welcome to Chillin' Solo, and welcome back to another chapter of the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game. This will be chapter 11. In the last chapter, chapter 10, we were recovering in Rivendell, and now we're moving on to chapter 11. So let's see what we have in store for us in this chapter. Chapter 11. Not all that was spoken and debated in the council need now be told. Much was said of events in the world outside, especially in the south and in the wide lands east of the mountains. So this is chapter 11, the Council of Elrond. So the characters we have in this one are Frodo, who is mandatory, Aragorn, who is mandatory, and Boromir, who is mandatory. And we have Glowin and Bilbo Baggins. So three of these we've seen before, Bilbo, Glowin, and Frodo. So we have new characters in Aragorn and Boromir. Our victory condition is a short victory condition, so just the characters that we choose for the round. Now also brought in with this chapter are gifts. So these are new to the game. They look like this, and we have two gifts that have come into play in this chapter. First of all, we have the sword that was broken, and we also have the Horn of Gondor. We'll take a look at these in a second, because it tells us in the setup of this chapter that we have to give Aragorn the sword that was broken and give Boromir the Horn of Gondor. So this will modify them or give them advantages in some way when it comes to setup or the gameplay itself. So let's have a look at the gifts before we have a look at the characters. So the gifts we have are the sword that was broken. It's the Shards of Narsil, and it has a set ability where it's going to replace your threat card. So any character that has this, I'm assuming, will be given to people who have victory conditions that relate to threat cards or setup abilities that relate to threat cards, because threat cards are no longer in the game. This is going to replace that and help them in that sort of way. So it tells us this replaces the threat card, and then we have to choose a range for our particular goal, which is going to be 1 to 2, 3 to 4, or 5 to 6, which we'll see will link up with Aragorn, because that's who we're going to give it to. The other gift is the Horn of Gondor, which is an heirloom, and it also has a setup ability. It says, after setup, you tell the other players which suit you have the most of in your hand. Now, it is specified in the rulebook, but I'm sure we've been able to figure it out. This is not going to be used in the solo mode because we already know all of the hands. We can see them all, so it doesn't benefit us to tell us ourselves which suit we have the most of in a hand, because we can see them all anyway. So the Horn of Gondor isn't going to be used, but would be useful in a multiplayer game, I'm sure. So let's have a look at the new characters. We got Aragorn, who is the heir of Isildur. His victory condition is that he needs to win exactly the number of tricks equal to the value of the chosen threat card. So in this case, we're going to have the sword that was broken instead, because there's no threat deck. So this says he needs to win the exact number of tricks equal to the value. However, this now gives us a bit of a range. So we can say we're either going to choose that Aragorn wins 1 to 2 tricks, 3 to 4 tricks, or 5 to 6 tricks. And we choose that during setup. And then it says during setup, you can choose any card from the threat deck, and then we get to exchange with any character. So if we didn't have this, we can choose any card from the threat deck and say, right, we're going to win this exact amount of tricks. But because we've got the sword that was broken this time, we're just going to choose a range to be able to complete our objective. And then he gets to exchange with any character. On to Boromir. He's the captain of Gondor. His victory condition is that he has to win the last trick. And also, if Boromir wins the One Ring, you lose a chapter, because we know that Boromir is very tempted by the One Ring, so we don't want him to go near it. So he can win multiple tricks if we need him to, but he has to win the last trick. And then he gets to exchange with any character except Frodo, because they're not friends, really. And we've seen Glowin, Bilbo, and Frodo already. So let's go into assigning characters. We have to have Frodo, Aragorn, and Boromir. So we're either going to have Glowin to win the most mountains, or Bilbo to win 3 or more tricks. But he also gets to decide. I'd like having Bilbo because he gets to pawn off leading tricks if he needs to. Okay, so, well, Frodo has to go to the One Ring, right? The player dealt with the One Ring is Frodo. So Frodo has to go here. And he's going to lead the first trick. Right, so we need Boromir to win the last trick. Is it worth him giving a few high cards so we can sort of keep a high card for later in the game so he can make sure he wins? Maybe. We also need Bilbo to win 3 tricks, and having high cards is an easy way to do that. You know what? I think I'm going to put Aragorn down here, and we'll have him win few tricks, maybe 1 to 2 tricks. He's got low cards. Hopefully that will be able to help with that. Yeah, I think we'll put Boromir down into this section, and maybe we can have him win the end with that, and Bilbo down here so he can win 3. He's got high cards there, so we might be able to win 3 tricks with that. Hopefully that's going to work out for us. So Gloin, I'm afraid you are not going to be involved in the council today. There's our ring token. Let's bring the deck in a bit further. We have to give Aragorn the sword that was broken. So Aragorn has to choose a range to complete his objective. So starting with Frodo, we go to setups. We only get to do 1 exchange. So Frodo doesn't do any exchanges on himself. He just gets to lead the first trick. So on to Boromir. He can exchange with any character except Frodo. And Aragorn can exchange with any character. So one of these two has to do an exchange, if we want to do an exchange at all, really. Do we even want to do an exchange? So Frodo needs to win 4 more ring cards. It might be worth having Aragorn exchange with Frodo and just giving the ring to Aragorn so that Frodo can win it off him at some point. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have Boromir exchange. Bilbo doesn't do an exchange. We're going to have Aragorn exchange. We're going to give the 3 of rings to Aragorn, and we're going to take the 1 of forest. Okay, our last card is up here, 2 of hills. That's not going to be in the game. Let's get started. So starting with Frodo, what do we want to do? Do we want to start giving Bilbo a win? Yes, let's start with playing the 1 of forest. Boromir is going to play the 2 of forest. Bilbo has to play his 8 of forest, and no forest for Aragorn, so he's just gonna get rid of his 1 of mountains, I think. I was saying, by the way, that he's going to win 1 to 2 tricks, I think, for Aragorn. We should have said that officially before we started, but we're going to go with 1 to 2 tricks for Aragorn. So Bilbo wins that. That's 1 of at least 3 that he needs to win. Let's deal out some cards. We've got 3 of forest there, 2 of mountains, 1 of shadows, and 8 of hills. So Bilbo could give the lead to somebody else if he wishes to do so. I want to be able to break rings at some point. Mountains could be a decent way to do that. Maybe we do that now and have Frodo win. I think we're going to give Aragorn a win. So we're going to have Boromir play the 2 of shadows. We're going to have this 5 of shadows played from Bilbo, the 8 of shadows from Aragorn, and then Frodo's going to play his 1 of shadows, so that's 1 win for Aragorn. So we can only have him win 1 more trick. So let's deal out some new cards. Mountains, 6 of forest, and 3 of mountains. So Aragorn needs to lead. So maybe we send it back over to Bilbo. How are we going to do that? We can't. Okay, let's just play the mountain cards, I think. I'm going to 2 of mountains from Aragorn, 4 of mountains from Frodo, 8 of mountains, and 3 of mountains, meaning Boromir wins this one. Okay, let's deal out some new cards. I'm not feeling too confident this is going to go my way. But let's see. Okay, we could break some rings now, actually. This might be good. We're going to play the 6 of forest with Boromir. We're going to play 3 of forest with Bilbo. We're going to play 3 of rings because we have no forest for Aragorn. 3 of rings there, which means rings are now broken. No forest for Frodo. He's going to play the 1 ring and choose to win this hand. So that's 2 rings for Frodo. So just 2 more rings for Frodo. That's pretty good, actually. Don't mind that. Let's deal out some new cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And Boromir has 2 rings. Slightly unfortunate because he's got higher cards. So we're just going to play the shadow card actually and give it to Frodo for a second win. So shadow card there. Boromir can just play his 5 of mountains. Shadow card has to be played from Bilbo, the 7 of shadows, and Aragorn's just going to get rid of his high cards. He doesn't want to be winning any more tricks really, so 7 of mountains can go away from Aragorn. So that's a win for Bilbo. That's his second trick. Let's deal out some new cards. These are going to be the last. Here's the 5. Okay, so, right, what we're going to do is Bilbo gets to choose who leads. I think we can do it here. So we're going to say Frodo is going to lead. He's going to play the 6 of shadows. No shadow card for Boromir, so he's going to play his 2 of rings. No shadow card for Bilbo. He is going to play his... Actually, we're going to rewind that quickly. I think we need Bilbo to win one more trick first. Just in case. Yeah, we're going to have Bilbo win one, because he needs to win one more trick. So yeah, we're just going to play the 7 of forests. Why not? No actually, forest for Aragorn has to play the 4. We are going to play the 6 of hills, because it doesn't really matter there, I don't think. We just don't want to get rid of the shadows. No forest for... Oh, actually, yeah, sorry. Boromir has a forest as well, the 5 of forest. So that's another win for Bilbo. That's 3 tricks won for Bilbo. His victory condition is complete. Now he's going to say Frodo can lead. So Frodo is going to lead with the 6 of shadows. No shadow for Boromir. He's going to take the 2 of rings. No shadow for Bilbo. He's going to play the 7 of forests. Hills, sorry. No shadow for Aragorn. He's going to play the 5 of rings. So that's a win for Bilbo. And that's 4 rings. Frodo, sorry. That's 4 rings for Frodo. I don't like having Frodo and Bilbo in the same game. Keep getting them muddled up. Okay. So Frodo's victory condition is complete. 4 or more ring cards have been won. So now Frodo has to lead. He's going to lead with the 5 of hills, meaning Boromir has to play the 8 of hills, the 1 of hills for Bilbo, and the 4 of hills from Aragorn, giving Boromir that win. Now Boromir has to lead. He's going to lead with the 4 of rings. No ring there, no ring there, no ring there, meaning Boromir wins that, which is the final trick of the round, meaning Boromir's victory condition has been completed. He did not win the 1 ring because Frodo did. Aragorn had to win 1 or 2 tricks. He has won 1 trick. Aragorn is complete. Council of Elrond is over with a victory. There we go. I had to think about things a little bit there. It was quite interesting. Nearly messed up at the end there, but managed to save it in the end. Very good. So that's chapter 11. That was the Council of Elrond. Gifts have been brought into play, which is a nice way to mix things up with the setups or victory conditions of characters, especially those that, well, with this one specifically to help those who interact with the threat deck that's no longer a thing, because the Black Riders are now gone. You don't see them in the book after they have been banished by Glorfindel at the Ford. So yeah, very good. Thanks for watching. Again, leave comments below. Let me know what you think of the game, what you thought of this chapter. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next chapter of Lord of the Rings. Have a good one.